Do you like movies, comic books, science fiction, and more? Then you come to the right place. This is the Rebel Radio Podcast. You can find us at therebelradiopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and join our Patreon for just $2 a month where you get exclusive episodes. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to a new episode of the Rebel Radio Podcast. This is Mark.
This is Matt.
This is Long, the Cape Crusader.
Yes.
The Cape Crusader. Yes.
Or the Dark
It's kind of by default that this has become an annual thing to do a Batman film on Christmas week. We did Mask of the Phantasm 2 years ago. So last year we're like, well, let's sort of on purpose, not on purpose, start tradition and did Under the Red Hood. So now Batman Begins today. And I guess it'll be 10 years since Dark Knight Rises hits theaters next year. So maybe that'll be next year's Batman movie. Who knows? We shall see. But it is 6 days before Christmas. So I guess Merry Christmas to everyone, because they may not hear our voices again until after Christmas. The next episode will be out the Monday after. So we hope that everyone has a happy and safe holiday and jolly good tidings. And deck the halls with boughs of holly. And eat lots of fudge and or drink beer. Whatever it is you do that indulge yourself on Christmas. There you go.
Humbug.
Bah humbug.
Or be a bah humbug. You know, that too.
Humbug.
It works. Bah humbug. So, how you fellas?
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, good, man. Yeah, I can't complain, you know. It's been all right.
6-day work week here. I know Matt works 6 days every week, but...
Oh, pussies.
Always have to be up, always have to take calls from my boss and his boss, and they say they came out with a new policy saying no more off days unless you're on vacation. So no more fun. No more sleeping in.
Matt still doesn't work as hard.
No, it's the mental stress. You trade
paper
physical.
pusher.
And pushing paper, pushing cases.
Oh, well. You'll live.
Yeah, we'll be all right. You know, you can get... If Ace Ventura can get used to looking out his driver window to drive his car, then I can get used to this.
I'm not seeing the comparison, but okay.
Me neither.
My voice is a little better tonight. It's not.
Yeah, you sound less
great,
scratchier.
but it's better. Doctor doesn't know what's going on. He's just like, rest your voice and drink some warm tea or something. I'm like, but I don't like warm tea.
Did that meteor shower already happen? Maybe you're getting like Banshee powers, you know? Your voice is going to get weaker, but then you're going to be Banshee whenever you get your powers.
Yeah.
No?
No, I don't think so. You know.
I don't
Or
get
maybe while I sleep at night, I'm like a secret scream singer, and I wake up and I can't talk.
That's what I think so. I think that could be it.
I'm leading a double life as a screamo.
You're singing
musician.
Walk from Pantera.
Yeah. Or I'm just working on my Batman voice. This is it's not the things we do that define us.
Bring me a pizza.
All right. Well, on that note, I want to get this show started because, man, there's a lot to talk about. And download this. We usually tell people what we streamed, watched, checked out this week. And I'll be honest, I don't really give a fuck what y'all watched because I want to talk about Mandalorian. But I'll give y'all a chance to tell me what y'all watched.
You go ahead first, Matt.
Okay. I played Tom Clancy's Rainbow Siege again. Just haven't been able to pry myself off the game. But I did pry myself off of it enough to play Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Played that for a little bit.
That's a fun one. Once you get your ship, it's even more fun.
I cleared the first part, and I guess I did. This is my first Assassin's Creed game, so I didn't know that you were actually like in the body of somebody else, and there's like like your mind is just transferred or something, I guess.
Yeah, I hate that aspect of the game.
Yeah,
where you get pulled into the modern world.
Yeah,
it's stupid. But I try not to get into those real world missions and try to stay in the actual Assassin's Creed mission.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, did you get your pirate ship yet?
Not yet. I only played the first part.
Just keep at it. Another half hour, you'll get your first pirate ship, and you're gonna love it.
That's cool.
So,
I did like the cannon firing. You have to angle your vehicle just enough and try and take out the other ships. That was cool.
Yeah.
But as far as what I watched, I watched Jumper because it was on sale, and it's kind of a guilty pleasure movie of mine. I kind of like it. I know it's a Patreon movie for sure, but it's got Hayden Christensen, it's got Samuel L. Jackson, got Diane Lane.
That was back when Samuel L. Jackson would take every role for a blowjob.
And then
wait, he still does that shit.
Yeah. And it's got that other guy that's a jumper in it, and he's been in other movies. I keep forgetting his name, but he's Scottish or something, or Scots-Irish. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is somebody I knew, I don't even remember, wanted me to go see that with him in theaters, and I remember just cringing the entire time I watched it. Oh, it's not very good.
Yeah.
I
haven't seen it.
It's worth that one watch. It's kind of like Push. Have you ever seen Push with Chris Evans and Dakota Fanning? I felt like those movies had great ideas. They were great ideas, but maybe not executed the way they probably should have been. I think if you rebooted those films with a better director and a better budget, probably would have been a decent film versus a kind of film. Other than that, I continued to watch some Christmas movies. I watched Christmas Vacation. Didn't realize there was a Christmas Vacation 2, and they were offering this bundle deal, but I didn't buy it because I ended up watching some cutscenes from it just to kind of see what it was about. It doesn't look as strong as the
it has nothing
Christmas
to do with the
Vacation
original film.
Yeah. So didn't get that, just got the original. And I tried to watch The Fifth Element today, but the wife wasn't having it. She was like, I don't want to watch that movie. I'm like, well, one of these days you'll have to, so probably have to get her.
She's never seen it or what?
She's never seen it.
That's weird.
It was on sale for $5 on Vudu. Yeah. Oh, but I did watch Rocky 4. I did watch Rocky 4. And I told
Ivan Drago.
Yes. I told her, I said, you need to watch this workout montage. This is the best workout montage ever. It'll make you want to get up and
20-minute one.
No.
Yeah, man. And he walks up to the mirror and he crushes Ivan Drago's picture.
Rocky
You're wrong. The greatest workout montage was in that movie with Andy Samberg.
Hot Shot? Or Hot Rod?
Hot Rod. That's the greatest. That's the greatest
Rocky
workout
4 is
montage.
so overrated.
Man, you just shitting on everything today, huh, Mark?
Rocky 4 is overrated. It really is.
Overrated?
Quit picking on poor Matt. He's young and naive.
You've got James Brown in that movie. You've got a
It's not as good as Rocky 1 or 2. It's not as good as Rocky 1 or 2.
R2-D2's cousin is in it, man.
It's not as better as Creed or Creed 2.
Okay, I agree with you. It's not as good as Creed 2.
I don't even think
I still need to watch.
I think Rocky Balboa is better than it.
Hey, I liked that last Rocky movie. I really did.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually bought
I think Rocky Balboa is better.
Yeah, and that's the only Rocky movie I have. Funny enough. I need to get
I've got
Rocky
all-
1 and 2 though.
Look, man, both guys landed 98% of their power punches. Rocky Balboa ends the Cold War right there. Don't tell me that that's not one of the best Rocky movies ever.
No, dude, Rambo 3
It's
ended the
overrated.
Cold War.
If
Come
I
on.
can change, you can change. We all can
Rambo
change,
3.
Mark.
Rambo 3 did it, dude.
Rambo 3.
Yeah, come on.
All right, Long.
He took down the Hind D by himself, a Hind D helicopter.
That
Come
is
on.
true. That's true.
No. All right. So is that your download this?
That's it.
All right. So my download this, I did jack shit. So I'm going to make mine quick.
Wow.
Only played a couple of games here and there, but couldn't get into any of them because I was just dog tired. But I did make a special occasion where I woke up about an hour early before work and watched The Mandalorian and segue into Mark. That's my download this. But yeah, I spent extra time to watch Mandalorian because I didn't want to get spoiled by accident. So
I finished the Transformers miniseries on Netflix since season 2 comes out next week, or
yeah,
chapter 2, whatever they call it. It got better. It's still not great, but there's a lot of setup, so they better bring it in chapter 2. We better get some Transformers action, not just Megatron constantly telling everybody what he's going to do, but then he doesn't do anything. Or Optimus telling everybody what he's going to do. He doesn't do anything either. That's how I felt the first season was that. Like, we're going to tell you what we're going to do, but we're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So, you finished it long, huh?
Yeah, I
6
did.
episodes.
Yeah, in its initial run, yeah.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to, in April, Netflix, they're going to release a honest to goodness new Godzilla TV series anime. I'm looking forward to that. So, but yeah, I mean, the Megatron voice actor, he has no charisma whatsoever. He just growls his lines. He doesn't even sound menacing, you know?
Yeah.
He's just, I don't know. I don't like him.
Yeah.
So.
It's not what we're used to. But other than that, our weekly recap this week of the season finale of The Mandalorian. It's been all over the internet, booming. Obviously, spoilers beware, because we're going to talk about this episode and spoil the shit out of it. And what an incredible episode it was. I don't like to hear when people say Star Wars is dead, because Star Wars isn't dead. Whether you like the sequels or not, they made a lot of money. People are saying that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are saving Star Wars. No, not really. They're just maybe a little bit of course correction with Star Wars and getting it back to it being exciting and adventurous, the things that make Star Wars so well. But I don't think they're saving anything. They're just doing Star Wars the way that it, I don't know, I don't even like to say should be done, but the way it can be done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where it brings you a sense of adventure and excitement and all the things that we grew up enjoying.
Yeah.
And in this 45 minutes, we got all of those things. That's just my non-spoiler review so far. Absolute perfection, 10 out of 10. This episode had everything.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Now that Mark did the non-spoilers, we're going to get into the spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, this is your warning, because we're going to get into spoilers now. But yeah, I agree with you, Mark, for sure. And what I liked about the first season was that they didn't lean in on any kind of fan service, really. And they pretty much spent the first season trying to earn all the fan service in this season. And they cashed their chips in, basically, right? And, they brought in fan favorites like Ahsoka Tano and Boba Fett. And they could have done that in the first season alone, but they didn't. They didn't want to rush, the excitement of bringing in the classic characters. And they really they did a good job in this last episode. They did hint at the whole getting Grogu to a Jedi, right? And everyone's thinking Ezra Bridger or Mace Windu, even, because we didn't really see his death. I mean, we did see him fall out the window, but that was a possibility. But people weren't expecting the most obvious answer to that whole hinting was, freaking Luke Skywalker is the Jedi that ends up picking up Grogu. So I really like that. It was earned. It wasn't a fan service thing to placate the fans. It was, it just felt like.
It felt right.
Like right, exactly. So, this episode also illustrated how scary fighting one Dark Trooper was.
Oh my god!
How much of a struggle that was, and even though Mandalorian was wearing his helmet, I mean, you could feel the pain of that. His head being crushed against the wall.
Its head's just going through the pipes.
Yeah.
And through everything.
Yeah. If his helmet was made of a lesser material, that would have sucked.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. But he managed to overcome just one. And then freaking the savior of the episode just goes through all these Dark Troopers like it was like knife through butter,
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't clear. I thought the Dark Troopers were made of Beskar armor, too, weren't they? Or just a high material?
I thought it was just, like, super thick, like, blast door material or something, Yeah. That would make sense, because why the blasters are just bouncing off.
Mm-hmm.
But
what'd you think of it, Matt?
I thought it was pretty darn awesome at the end. Whenever the X-Wing comes in and I see one lightsaber, and it's kind of a black and white video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it's Ahsoka. There's got to be Ahsoka or Ezra. And then I'm like, that lightsaber's green.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. There ain't no way it's Luke.
And then we see his glove.
And then you see the glove, and I'm like, I'm looking at the saber. And then before he reaches the blast doors, the last Dark Trooper he comes out, he uses Force Crush. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a power Luke would use. I was like, isn't that like borderline, like dark side power? Maybe it's not Luke. And then, sure enough, it's Luke with R2-D2.
Yes. It was, the reveal was, it was emotional. As a Star Wars fan, it was so well played. The whole episode, props to the composer. I can't think of his name, but his score in this episode was phenomenal. The music helped build a tension throughout it. That was good. And then Peyton Reed's directing. Peyton Reed directed the Ant-Man films, and I'm kind of sometimes harsh on the Ant-Man films, but my God, he directed a hell of an episode of The Mandalorian. I mean, the best one yet. And like you said, when that green saber shows up, you're thinking, who is this? No, they're not going to do that. And it just, at that point, you could feel your skin crawling. You're getting goosebumps. You're like, no way they're going to do this. And then when it's revealed that it's Luke, it just feels like that makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's no other way you could have done this, because Ezra, you can't explain that to the general audiences. You have to build up to that. If they had done the video game character Cal, no one would have understood that unless you play games.
Yeah. And I hate to bring this up too. Sorry to interrupt you. And that's the Luke I wanted. That's the old Luke I wanted to see in Last Jedi.
Right.
And we didn't get that. We had to get it through Mandalorian, which is fine. I'd rather see this Luke than the Last Jedi Luke, who was bitter, cynical, gave up on life, bitter, apathetic Luke. Which I didn't, and I can see why Mark Hamill was arguing against shooting or portraying Luke that way. So, anyways, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, and then Mace Windu might have been the only other character that might have made a little sense in this timeline, but it wouldn't have given you that thrill that Luke gave you. You were just like, oh, that's cool. It's Mace. You wouldn't have been as excited as you were for this. And I thought the CGI was pretty good. The de-aging of Mark Hamill. They use a body double for Mark, but they use his face and his voice, obviously. Not quite as good as Governor Tarkin in Rogue One, but better than Leia at the end of Rogue One. It still looked pretty good.
I rewatched it again, and the lip sync was a little questionable.
Yeah, when his lips move.
Off. Yeah.
When he's just standing there, he's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll re-upload a better version.
But I'm with you, Long. This is the Luke that a lot of people were hoping they were going to get, but I also am not going to knock the Luke that we did get, because it's a whole nother thing. It is the story choices they made is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But this was so cool to finally see Luke in his full Jedi master form. Kicking ass basically and taking names. And the R2 cameo was a icing on the cake.
Yeah. Yeah, and just to remind fans about the whole Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni saving Star Wars thing, that this is all still under Kathleen Kennedy's watch. Nothing goes past her without her approval. So, it's all under Lucasfilm. Everyone says Disney, Disney, Disney. All Disney does is write the checks. Lucasfilm runs as its own entity. People forget that.
Yeah,
like Pixar.
Just like Pixar or Marvel Studios. Disney is not making decisions for them. And that's what the funny thing about it. But yeah, and then the emotional scene between the Mando and Grogu as they say goodbye, which was quite well done and well acted by Pedro Pascal. He did a very good job of that.
And I thought that overshadowed Luke's appearance for me too.
A little bit, yeah.
Even though Luke was there, I was still very enthralled by the final moments that Grogu and the bounty hunter, not the bounty hunter, but Din Djarin.
Yep.
Yeah. This is a touching moment. That moment was not overshadowed by Luke's cameo.
No.
For me,
that's just a good storytelling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Pedro sells the scene, was acting, did a really good job.
Yeah.
And
really looking forward to his Maxwell Lord in the new Wonder Woman movie.
and it feels like they closed that chapter of the story. And a lot of people wonder where they might go with season 3, but I think the whole thing with the Darksaber and the fact that he has the Darksaber because he took it with Gideon and that Bo-Katan has to win it back from him, I think it sets up that that he's going to help them get Mandalore back. I think there's plenty of...
Did Bo-Katan die at the end? Because I rewatched it 4 times, and she doesn't get back up, and she's not in the scene whenever they are looking at Grogu be taken. She gets shot up by Gideon, Moff Gideon.
Yeah, she does, but
and
she does
falls,
get up. And she wore her helmet again.
I didn't see it.
There were 2 bounty hunters behind Mando.
Maybe in like the background. I'll have to look again. But I was like,
I thought in the final scene, after Luke gets in the elevator, I thought in the final scene they were all standing back there.
Yeah, they were.
I would like that to be, but I was like, whenever because whenever we first talked, I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna have to eventually fight Bo-Katan because she wants that saber. And then I rewatched it again, and I'm like, oh wait, I thought he shot Sasha Banks. He shot Bo-Katan. And I'm like, does she get back up? And I watched it again, and I didn't catch it. So maybe they make a subtle hint. I'm gonna have to watch that last.
No, I'm pulling it up now.
You're pulling it up.
Last shot.
I could be wrong. Maybe I just missed it because it's in the background. Maybe they kind of blur out the back part.
Yeah, they're both there.
They are both there.
Yeah, there's a wide shot of all 5 of the characters standing up.
Okay.
Yeah, the Fennec, the chick in the blue armor, Bo-Katan in her armor, and Gina Carano.
Okay. The only part of the episode I thought was a little silly was the Gina Carano was her gun jams. What? It's almost like the writers, let's give a reason to have her use her muscles. You know, I was like, it did nothing to drive the story. It was a little silly.
Yeah.
But I was like, whatever, yeah. But then it fades to black, and it's basically to be continued. You know, the Mando tells Grogu, "I'll see you again, I promise." So I'm sure their paths will cross, but it leaves us wondering what happens with Mando now. And then we got the post-credit scene, which was pretty awesome in its own right. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As,
They want to wait.
the whole episode starts where Boba Fett helps him. He pretends like he's shooting at them after they steal a Lambda shuttle to get onto the ship. So Boba Fett takes off into deep space afterwards and leaves them to their mission.
Yeah.
And we don't see Fett again until the post-credit scene as he returns to Jabba's palace. This time with a very overweight Bib Fortuna running Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but before you comment on that, it's a good thing it's touch and go, huh? For Boba Fett to leave and then Luke Skywalker to come in. The same Luke Skywalker who played a part in him falling into the Sarlacc pit.
that is true.
Or was it Han Solo?
Han and Luke both kind of had a part in it. They both kind of had a part in it.
Yeah.
Well, Luke fought him. He wraps Luke up with his wire, and Luke cuts the wire off in Return of the Jedi. So, you know, Luke might have recognized him. You know. But yeah, so Fett, I guess him and Fennec must hook back up because Fennec walks into the throne room with him, and they kill his guards, and Bib Fortuna tries to talk his way out of it, but not before Fett fires on him too, and just sort of pushes his fat ass out of the chair and sits down on the throne, and it's to be continued. And they reveal the book of Boba Fett coming in December 21.
Yeah.
Which they haven't said what that is yet.
My best friend, I thought you were swallowed by the anus of Tatooine. He says, no. Boom.
The anus of Tatooine. But it was cool. So I guess we're getting the Boba Fett miniseries. At least that's the rumor. Some rumor is that it could be the Taika Waititi project, and it's going to be a movie made for Disney Plus. I figure a week or two will go by, then Disney will make some sort of official announcement as to what it is. They're giving people time to watch it. You know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But they're building a little universe here. It looks like Disney with the Star Wars, bigger than the one we previously had with all these shows. But man,
I know you're a little leery about Taika Waititi, but I know you're singing his praises on the season finale of season 1. You know, that was a really good episode too.
Mm-hmm. The whole Terminator 2 reference.
No.
Yes.
The part where he
yes,
where he was fighting on the TIE fighter.
Oh,
while it was flying around. Yeah.
It's stuck onto it and trying to put the bomb on the wing, but kept flying away.
Overall, how would you guys score the season 2? Overall, the whole season.
I mean, it's still an A. Yeah. A plus. A.
I can't quite give it an A plus just because of some of the story cliches. It's like, oh, I got to go here and do this and get help. I go here and do this and get help. That's the only thing that holds it back a little bit from being an almost perfect show.
Yeah, I give it an A.
Now the season finale, that's an A plus 10 out of 10. One of the best hours of Star Wars ever. Best hours of television I've seen in a long time.
But how about the whole season? What's your score, Mark?
I'll give it about A.
Yeah, A or A minus.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But the Luke, I watched the episode again this afternoon, and even the second time, when you see the green saber, it's nerdgasm. You know, it's just awesome.
Yeah. Have you seen the internet splices of the Darth Vader hallway scene from Rogue One put on top of the hallway
I mean, I've
scene?
seen pictures out there, you know,
Yeah.
comparing them.
Yeah.
Similar fighting style, but still different.
Yeah,
Too.
but yeah, it's awesome. Now we got the long wait till season 3 to see where they go next. So
yeah, hopefully when people start getting vaccinated, we'll see better production speeds.
yeah,
Of all these shows. So WandaVision's next, I guess, for Disney Plus series.
yeah, all the
It's
Marvel stuff's
WandaVision.
gonna start in.
Yeah.
WandaVision and What If and Falcon and Winter Soldier all in the next few months. So, but yeah. Oh well. All right. Well, I guess let's get into today's featured film, and that is 2005's Christopher Nolan directed reboot of Batman, as he brought us Batman Begins, and basically this tells a retelling of the origin of Batman, with a lot of influence from the Year One comics. As Batman trains with the League of or Bruce Wayne trains with the League of Assassins to try to bring Gotham City back to what it was when his parents were helping the city become, what's the word I'm looking for? The city that it used to be. And so he decides to use his fear of bats to form an alter ego to fight against the Falcone family and the crime that's riddling Gotham City. And Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins are involved in all of the taking down of Gotham because they feel it needs to be sacked and restarted, that there is no saving it. But Bruce believes differently and creates Batman to stop them. It's a pretty good summary, huh?
Yeah.
And I hadn't summarized in a while, so I just sort of went with it.
Yeah.
So this movie, I know we all saw this in theaters, I'm sure. This was when I remember my first thoughts of walking out of this film, because was just like, well, that's a refreshing take on Batman.
Well, how about when you were like bought a ticket and then you went in? What were your thoughts? Did you have any idea what you were getting into, or were you
no? Because I mean, I had only really seen, as far as Christopher Nolan, at that point, I had only seen Memento. Christian Bale was a big name, but nothing huge yet. I remember watching the trailers and not seeing the Joker or Penguin or any of these known villains, so you didn't know what you were going to get.
Yeah.
And then you walked out of it. So I guess I went into it open-minded, saying, well, we'll see what we get here. And I walked out of it being really pleasantly thrilled and surprised by it. The fact that this was more of a realistic take on Batman, definitely more of a crime take than overworldly, over-the-top villains that we had gotten used to. It was shot well. It was filmed well. I felt like for Christopher Nolan, he didn't really have a style until he made the Batman films, and we started getting that Nolan style, because Nolan's films are very cinematic. Now that seems like a strange word to use, because every movie should be cinematic, but then there's some directors that just make you feel like you're having an experience, like Spielberg.
Epic feeling.
Epic. Yeah.
Cinematic.
Yeah.
And Nolan is one of those guys that, even if you might not like a film, like we were texting today, like if you didn't enjoy Dunkirk as much, his films still have its epic feeling to them. He's one of those types of directors, and that's how I felt walking out of Batman Begins. Was like, that was an epic Batman film and very satisfying.
Yeah. I liked how, when I was watching it, it was like the first Batman movie where I almost felt like my eyes well up when young Bruce was blaming himself for his parents' death. And you really felt sorry for young Bruce. And even though everyone knows his origins, it was like, well, good thing that was portrayed and caught on film in a different way, where you actually see the aftermath in real time of Bruce Wayne's personal tragedy, and then watching his whole origin story unfold and learning how he got his set of skills. very satisfying journey. And I really like Christian Bale. I didn't really mind his growly voice. It didn't bother me at all. I really do like the main villain, played by Liam Neeson. Nice little sleight of hand twist in the middle, where you thought the Ra's al Ghul was Ken Watanabe, but it was actually a decoy that died, and Liam Neeson's character, Ducard, was the real Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
One of the best car chase sequences for a Batman film. No, it is. Yeah, definitely one of the best. The Dark Knight, the Dark Knight has the best Batman chase scene out of all of them, in my opinion.
I still chuckle every time he drives over the police car, and they're like, "What kind of vehicle is he in?" And they're like, "It's a black tank."
Yeah. And
What
that's
street is he
definitely
on? I don't know. He's on rooftops.
Yeah. But the city itself felt like it was alive in a way too.
Yeah,
it's not as operatic or gothic as Tim Burton's Gotham City. Definitely more grounded, more realistic, and that's the angle of what this movie's trying to be, a realistic portrayal of Batman that's rooted in reality. What if this happened in real life? But yeah, I love this movie, and I was so stoked to see how they would portray like a Joker, in this kind of a lens. And what else? I really liked how Bruce Wayne was portrayed as two different people too, where he was kind of like a bumbling playboy after returning to Gotham, just like the comics, and then just kind of like the similar way that Michael Keaton portrayed Bruce Wayne. Different persona on the outside, total hunter predator during nighttime as Batman. So, yeah. Oh, and props to Morgan Freeman too, as being a supporting mentor type character as well. Yeah. As a longtime Batman fan, I was glad to see them give Lucius Fox a live action version, and Morgan Freeman does an amazing job with it.
Oh yeah.
Michael Caine is great as Alfred. I mean, I love Michael Koff in the Burton films, but Caine does a great job too as being the conscience of Bruce Wayne in these films. Yeah. And Matt, you're being a little bit younger than us. So when you saw Batman Begins, man, you grew up with the 90s Batman films as well. What did you think about this when you first saw it?
Actually, you were the one that got me to watch it. I don't know if you remember, Mark, but you were like, that's whenever 2005 was whenever we started. We got introduced to each other at work, and you were talking to me about the Batman Begins film, which had already come out on DVD, and you had mentioned to me that it came out on DVD, and you're like, "Oh, did you get to see it in theaters?" And I said, "No, I actually didn't get to catch it." And you're like, "You need to buy this DVD."
How old were you in 2005?
I was 18. No, by the time that came out on DVD, I was 19 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Yeah. He's like, you need to watch
19 years old, no kids, fresh out of high school.
Fresh out of high school, full head of hair, But yeah, he told me, you need to go watch this thing. So I did, and I was like just blown away, and I'm like, when's the next one coming out? It was so different from what I had gotten used to. I thought, a cool Batman was Batman Forever. I thought Batman Forever was cool.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, like I had the awareness enough to know that Batman and Robin was cheesy as heck, but I still kind of enjoyed Arnold in it because he was Arnold. He wasn't Mr. Freeze. He was Arnold. But I really liked Batman Returns for some reason. I guess because I watched it at a time when I just wasn't allowed to see that kind of stuff. But my uncle would show me all kinds of stuff. My Uncle Ted, who's about Mark's age, he would show me Star Wars and the Tim Burton Batmans, and I held those in high regard at the time. And to me, at this point, it was the best Batman film I had seen. And a lot of critics felt that way too. They felt like it was the best Batman film ever made.
Until The Dark Knight.
Until The Dark Knight.
And the strange thing to think is that Darren Aronofsky almost made this film.
Yeah.
and here's the even stranger thing is he was seriously considering casting Heath Ledger as Bruce Wayne. Aronofsky was.
Wow.
People forget that bit of trivia because they were into casting mode already when Aronofsky left the project and Nolan came in. And of course Nolan, because that was like 2001, 2002, and Nolan came in and he rewrote the script and everything. Him
and his brother.
Yeah, with his brother. And now I can't imagine anyone else doing these films besides Nolan. I know we have another Batman film coming out next year, but but at the time, it just felt right. And Nolan almost didn't make a sequel. He came into Warner Brothers and it was going to be a one and done kind of thing. But the movie was a big enough hit that they talked Nolan into doing another film. And of course, he went on to make the Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. What's funny enough, this has one of my favorite sequences of all the Batman films too. And that is when he goes to help Rachel, and he calls the bats in using the sonar.
Yeah.
Which is taken directly from the Batman Year One comic. And I was so glad they brought that on screen. It's just so cool to see Batman use the bats to his advantage. Which you saw done in the cartoons and stuff before, but to see it done in live action, it's one of my favorite sequences of the film.
What did you think of Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon?
Well, when they first cast him, I was like, but then when you see him early on in the film, he hits it. You feel right away this is Jim Gordon.
Oh yeah,
and he does a fantastic job.
Yeah, and it's a funny bit of trivia too that Gary Oldman wanted to play this role, and a lot of people were surprised by it because he always played like very colorful, very villainous type roles, and this is like one of the few roles where he's taking where he doesn't have to act all crazy or super, villainous or antagonistic. To him, it was a breath of fresh air to play a kind of a normal, decent human being. So I thought that was an interesting cast.
Yeah,
great ensemble movie too. Just great cast. Of actors.
We'd even mention Cillian Murphy as a Scarecrow. He's fantastic in it. Tom Wilkinson playing Falcone. That guy is always such a great character actor in anything he's in, and he does a great job in this movie. I won't even knock Katie Holmes for what she has to work with in this movie. She does a good job. I know people felt she was the weak link. She was the weak link in the casting, but I really had no problem with her. And she only didn't come back for the second one because I guess she was pregnant, right? So she chose to drop out. If I remember right, that's why she didn't come back for the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
No, she's good. Now this movie has set the new standard for what a Batman film should be. Well, this whole trilogy did, I think, and so hopefully Matt Reeves has a lot to live up with too. I believe with his Batman film coming out next year. But from the looks of the first trailer for that film, looks like he's gonna hopefully do it. And the ending of this film is cool too, where we get to see the bat signal and the Joker card. It just made you look forward to the sequel. Again, like you mentioned earlier, Long, I like the realism of this film. The military aspect of it, all of Batman's equipment is all based on military technology and things like that. Gave it a kind of a real feel. So it wasn't just buy whatever you want, kind of like in the 90s films.
Yeah.
He actually had to create this stuff. I even like to see where they smash the cow, and he's like, "Well, don't land on your head, sir."
Right. Yeah. Yeah, this movie is awesome. I give it an A.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
I think it's an A. I like the Scarecrow aspect. I like the realism. Like if Batman was you were going to be Batman, this is what you would have to do. You'd have to have a military suit and a gas-powered grappling gun, and that
Is that
kind
your
of
score?
stuff. Yeah.
Is that your real score?
A.
An A?
A.
Swear to me!
Swear to me! They only go to the Narrows if they're informed. Do I look like a cop? No, you look like a bat. You look like... Don't kill me.
That dude always plays weird characters, very shady characters. Hell,
yeah.
Yes.
the guy who was hanging upside down was in The Mandalorian last year. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
The
He
Fixer.
was also in 7. He's the
Yeah,
CIA
I always play shady
agent.
character. The young kid that Batman talks to turned into be the evil Jeffrey from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this again. That's one thing when this came out. I thought it was so cool. They were using the Scarecrow in the film, and I thought the Scarecrow effects are really cool, especially the first time it affects Batman. It's really kind of fucking wicked. And then when Batman's flying through the Narrows and people are looking at him all freaked out, so that was cool. But I give it an A as well. Very good Batman film, amongst the best easily.
Warner Brothers turned down Joss Whedon and the Wachowskis before they stuck with Nolan, but glad it went the way it did.
Yeah. No, I do too. And a lot of people thought that Nolan didn't understand what Batman was, but I think in the end it turned out pretty well. If I had one beef with Nolan in his trilogy, and we talk about in Dark Knight Rises maybe next year, is just the way he ended it, because the way he ended it was a big giant cock tease.
Cock tease.
But other than that,
Yeah.
Well, let's get into our top 5 then, as we're having some fun as it is Christmas week, and top 5 things that Batman might want for Christmas. And this is definitely a little tongue-in-cheek and maybe a little adult at times, at least on a couple of things on my list. But Long, you want to start it?
Yeah, I'll start it. Number 5 that Batman might want for Christmas is Batmobile's Lost Wheels. Yeah, that's my number 5.
Well, I also went with the jingle, and I was going to say as my number 5 deodorant, because Jingle Bells, Batman smells.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good one, Matt.
Because he's been
How about
fighting
you, Mark?
crime, He worked up a
I
sweat.
didn't quite use a jingle. I had an idea for this list of listing just 5 women, but I didn't do that. But I put just once he would like to have Joker on the nice list, just once, to not ruin his Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just one night, Joker, let Batman have a good Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Number 4 for me, Robin's egg. Yeah. He wants to look for Robin's egg that he laid. Go ahead, Matt. What's your number 4?
For my number 4, I think he misses the red phone. So I would say he wants the red phone back.
Yes.
Bring back the red phone.
Cell phone technology wise?
Yeah, maybe now it's a cell phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good one. At number 4, Batman tends to be a little. I think the Bruce Wayne in Batman could be a little narcissistic. I would imagine he would want some of his own action figures for Christmas. I could see that. He already knows we collected Grey Ghost stuff in the animated series, so I can see Batman wanting his own figures. Like, you know what? I'm going to make my own collection, and I'm going to stare at myself all day.
Nice.
My number 3 is he wants to catch Joker because he ran away. No.
That makes sense.
That's my number 3.
It's in the jingle.
Yeah. No, it's not. No. I mean, Joker could be out escaping from Arkham. So
have an
Joker ran
egg.
away, and Batman had to go catch him on Christmas. What's your number 3, Mark?
Or Matt.
I didn't get to say
Or
it.
Matt?
I'm trying to
I'm
pass
sorry.
I put for number 3 that he wants the
Which would be
return.
number 4.
Number 4. He wants It's the return of his bat
No,
nipple.
we're on number 3 right now.
Yeah, it is number 3.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
4. Okay, what was your number 3 again, Matt?
The return of the bat nipple. Bring the bat nipples
Oh.
back. He wants the bat nipples back.
I don't want it.
Does he really though?
For the ladies. How are they supposed to know
Well-
what to stare at, Mark, if they're just all smooth?
My number 3. I guess I'm stealing a little bit from the 90s Batman films too, is chicks dig the car. So Batman's always going to want a better Batmobile. Even if he already has one, he's going to want a better one. You know, because you can always get better. You know?
I agree. Chicks dig the car.
Number 2, I guess he wants Catwoman under the mistletoe. Yeah, that's right. Number 2, Catwoman, Selena Kyle, can't turn that down, especially under a mistletoe. Or he's going to have a bat mistletoe on his cowl.
On his cow?
Yeah, he'll push a button on his utility belt, and then that mistletoe will come out of his cowl over
Cowl.
Catwoman. Yeah,
I thought you said cow. I'm like,
No.
what?
his mask. Yeah. On a string, the mistletoe will come out after he pushes the utility button. Yeah. Catwoman's kiss. That's what he wants for Christmas.
I had a similar thing. I said I put down Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman as something that he would want at number 2, because she licked him, and he probably was wondering where that was going to go.
And my number 2, which is a question I've also often thought about myself, is I imagine Bruce and Clark at Christmas, and Bruce is tired of hearing Clark cry about fucking Lex Luthor. So why doesn't Wayne Enterprises just buy Luthor Industries? That's what you want for Christmas. Just buy him out.
Corporate takeover.
Yeah, just corporate takeover. There, Clark, you're welcome. Quit bitching about Lex Luthor.
Oh, okay. Lay off Luthor.
That's right.
Well, so I guess I'll start off with my number 1. I think Batman's number 1 Christmas wish is to spend one more Christmas with his dead parents.
Oh, that's somber. Okay, Matt, what's yours?
I also went the somber route, but I didn't say for Christmas. I just think that he wants his family back. Like Harrison Ford in The Fugitive. I want my family back.
Man. Well, I did not go somber. I went with All Out Party.
There
he
we
wants
go.
He wants Catwoman, Harley, and Ivy for a night of a foursome. That's what he wants for Christmas. All 3 of them at one time. Shickety, shickety, whack, whack.
Shickety, shickety, whack, whack. The hunka chunka.
Merry Christmas,
Yeah.
Batman.
And how?
Yes. Let's do some news. And on that note, it's mostly Star Wars news. The only bit of news that's not Star Wars news is that they're going to try to reboot Dungeons and Dragons, and with Chris Pine in the lead. And I thought this was funny because, do people even remember there was a Dungeons and Dragons movie?
Yeah,
So is it
Jeremy Irons, dude.
Is it really a reboot though when nobody remembers it? Because that
Wasn't
movie
Marlon Wayans in that movie
it was
too?
awful.
Yep. Marlon Wayans.
Talk about a Patreon movie. That movie is terrible. So,
Yep.
but yeah. Bit of sad news. Jeremy Bulloch, who played the original Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back, passed away this week at age 75. Nothing but good things to say about him by his peers. And he was at Compalooza one year, and I was listening to him talk and was in the room with him. So he'll be missed. And it's funny because a lot of people, he plays Boba Fett in the film, but the scene where where Vader points to him and says, or he's asking, can you assure me that he'll survive the freezing and all that? That's not Jeremy Bulloch in the suit. It's only Bulloch in the suit in the dining room and the carbon chamber and most of the other scenes. But Jeremy was sick that day and was someone else in the Boba Fett suit. But little Star Wars trivia there. On Christmas Day, a special episode of Disney's Gallery for Mandalorian Season 2 will be out. So you can watch that along with Disney Pixar Soul and Wonder Woman 1984. But more on that in a moment. the last bit of news. People are curious how far along they are on this Rogue Squadrons movie, and if it's coming out in December of 23. And according to Patty Jenkins, she signed on to this film almost a year ago, so they're pretty far along. They have the pitch almost done. They're writing the script, and could go behind the cameras as early as this summer to fall of 21. To start shooting and getting everything ready for a 23 release. But she might shoot Cleopatra first, her Cleopatra movie. So, it just depends. So, but I guess this just means that Lucasfilm is really good at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins was a secret. Boba Fett series is a secret. Luke Skywalker is a secret. So
every time I see Patty Jenkins in an interview, man, she's very charismatic, and she's always had something interesting to say.
Yes, very confident in
smart.
herself. Yeah, very confident, very smart. She understands the fandoms. I think she's going to make a fantastic Star Wars movie. I really have a lot of faith in it.
She definitely has the chops to do it. I mean, I just love listening to how she fought to keep that famous Wonder Woman scene of the Badlands and World War I battle scene.
Oh yeah.
And the studio didn't understand why she would have it. It didn't make sense to the story, but her argument was, look, it's not cynical, it's pure heroism, and we need more of pure motivation, So,
I can't imagine that movie without that scene,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the absolute best scenes in the film. But yeah. But I guess that brings us to a preview of next week's film, and we're gonna talk about Patty Jenkins' movie next week. As on Christmas Day, of course, Wonder Woman 1984 hits HBO Max and theaters. So we're going to do what we've done just a couple of other times, and we're going to talk a recent release for our feature film next week, and we are going to discuss Wonder Woman 1984 on next week's show.
This world is not yet ready for all that you will do. Your time will come, Diana. And everything will be different.
Citizens of the world,
I'm here to change your life.
anything you want, anything you dream of, you can have it.
You look like you saw a ghost. Diana, look at you. It's like not one day has passed.
I don't want to be like anyone. I want to be an apex predator. You've always had everything, while people like me have had nothing. Well, now it's my turn. Get used to it.
I've never been one for rules. The answer is always more. The way I fly, they will never find us.
I forgot to tell you.
What?
Radar.
Will they shoot at us?
Barbara, what did you do?
You know, I'm not so keen on this one. I figure you are, but you know what? I'm ready to go.
I think we can do better.
Parachute pants?
Yeah.
Does everybody parachute now?
Should be fun. I'm looking forward to watching this. It feels like in the year 2020, we've seen almost no new movies. I mean, there's been a few new things on Netflix and stuff, but nothing that's really got your blood boiling and excitement, So I'm not just talking the film with you guys. I'm just looking forward to seeing something new and exciting that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
The last thing I saw in theaters, Birds of Prey.
Yeah. Same. Birds of Prey here.
Yeah, I took the kids to see Sonic. That was the last thing I saw in theaters. But
not a bad movie choice from what I've heard.
It's not bad. But so yeah, next week should be fun talking the Wonder Woman sequel. A lot of people will be watching it. That comes out Christmas Day, and also if you have Disney Plus, you can watch the new Pixar film Soul on Christmas Day as well. So it should be some exciting things to watch. And as I said earlier, we hope you guys have a great holiday weekend and a Merry Christmas. And we thank you all for listening to us throughout the year. And we'll be talking some year-ending stuff next week as we look back on 2020 as well next week on the show. Join our Patreon if you'd like, just $2 a month to get you an exclusive episode. And we enjoy bringing those to you. We only got a few days, man. We got to get on that this week or next, our Patreon episode for December. And as always, this is the Rebel Radio Podcast. We thank you for listening. This is Mark.
This has been Matt.
This is Long, the world's greatest detective, old chums.
As always, thank you for listening. Just remember, as always, holy, just go there and do it.
Same Rebel time, same Rebel channel.